And we're live. Hello, Matt. How's it going?
Hey, Jeremy.
If you notice, I redecorated. I hired this artist. He's done some work with Magic the Gathering, and he told me he wouldn't use any AI tools, but of course he.
Yeah.
I got a nice little rec room. Yeah, I'm really worried that that's going to be the company's like the default position, like, oh no, it's the artist's fault, the artist did it, we told them no AI, but these artists, they don't listen. And probably what happened is they hired a non-artist. They just had somebody, in the office, like, you can use Photoshop, right? Okay, well, make a TV room and then throw these pictures from the card art in there. Yeah, it was probably one of those. I think Denise knows Photoshop. Let's get her to throw something promo together for us. And they haven't learned. Yeah.
The problem with the we didn't know excuses, like someone's in charge of your art department,
right?
Like they have to quality check this stuff, right? Or are you admitting that you don't quality check? Maybe with the last couple messed up card sets, they are admitting that they don't quality check.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they're having trouble printing cards. That's amazing for Wizards of the Coast.
Yeah.
But I think that's going to be, and maybe I mentioned that when we talked about it, I think last week, that switching to these sustainable packaging materials, like having everything wrapped in paper and cardboard, is going to make it's a whole new game as far as like how damaged things are going to get. And, because they were saying the banding, the paper bands on the cards and stuff were responsible for a lot of the edge damage and so they have to, kind of find new techniques, and they probably haven't tested them. They just need to get them out there. But we'll see. We'll see how that continues. So what have you been up to? So you played some board games. Oh yeah, we had a torturous. People probably saw that online. We played the Malagash Magna Gothica.
Yeah.
And realized that it's good for VTTs because you need a lot of tokens. So
you do, but it gives you no assets. So
yes. Yeah. So
how long did you wrestle with that map? I mean,
it took a while. Yeah. And I realized that if there's going to be three of us, there's no way we're going to fit on the default map for those special scenarios. So overall, what did you think of the game? What was your takeaway?
Mixed. I enjoyed playing it with you guys, and I kind of enjoyed the faction I chose, and there were some cool interactions, but the theming's a little I hate to say it, a little half-assed. I feel like it's derivative kind of, and the sheer amount of tracking. I did not enjoy the fact that even my lowliest units had multiple powers.
Right.
And then thinking about what the rules had, we could have unlocked a whole bunch more powers for all of those units.
Right.
And it just would have been a nightmare. Like every turn would have been a little analysis paralysis. Like, okay, what does this guy do again? Okay. I feel like in a miniatures war game, virtual or not, you're generally trying to do the optimum thing, right? And there's too much there to do that.
Right. Yeah, I can see why they recommend not having any extra points to spend for your first game or your early games, because you're right. It's too many options. You need like a flow chart to follow for every unit, every move. It's like, okay, did I do this? If I did this, I can also do this. But if I didn't do that, then a lot of
and also there was a little bit of I'm sure this was not the intention, but a little bit of a misrepresentation or something with how his faction cover arts compared to his faction units. Like stylistically, they were totally different.
Yes.
And I said this before, but the badass picture of the warrior nun was what made me pick the faction I picked.
Right.
And then there's not like a token for her or anything, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
bummer.
Yeah, it's almost like that's the RPG character that the artist, had in mind for that faction, yeah, but not necessarily a unit in the game. Yeah, really, really good art, and it's just totally over the top setting. So, and I think maybe I haven't read the webcomic, but I have an idea, a feeling that webcomic is like that as well. So very over
Between
the top.
playing that and hearing you talk before, it just made me want to play Forbidden Psalms.
Yes. Yeah, that's a real easy game to get a hold of, and it's really fun. And you could have a character named Trevor. that was I think one of the stars of the game. So watch the recorded live stream if you want to find out who Trevor is.
Yeah, it was a fun experience, and it did actually, to its credit, it felt like it kind of came down to the wire scoring wise. So that's cool.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think it worked okay mechanically, and the factions felt different enough. I always I make the mistake of going for, I like the disease factions are fun, like necromancy and disease is fun, but they're not fun to play against. Like when you're just like constantly spreading your filth everywhere. It's like I'm attracted to the aesthetic of those, but always they're not fun to play against. Yeah, I always forget that feeling, because the same with Death Guard in 40K. It's just like, when they first came out, they were overpowered and very unpleasant, unpleasantly ill, but fun to paint.
We all had like a big baddie that had some kind of like, whoa, that was cool. Like you didn't even choose your faction's big baddie, but your slime was just build up and explode, right? And so we all had some kind of like big thing that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So even though what did he say he did it in 11 days?
Yeah, it's real quick production. Yeah.
I didn't feel broken or anything. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I think the scenario we play just kind of stretch it out past what it's intended for.
Yeah, that's true. I think that was a bad first choice for scenario, because you have to go the whole 6 rounds, for the scoring. So yeah, there's no objectives short of kill. Yeah. But and if somebody does a some sort of package for one of the VTTs that will give character sheets and tracking, better tracking and distinctive tokens, I think it would be much more playable, because we were kind of improvising with a lot of colored squares and stuff. So the look of it got kind of trashy once we got into it.
It was hard. It kept being, okay, does this space hurt me now?
Yes,
or does
right.
it slow me down? Or I have to climb it? Or yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, but fun overall, and the live stream is getting some views, so I think there's not a lot of people playing it online. It's kind of it seems like an easy one to get online because it's a VTT. But we'll have to try that with Forbidden Psalm. We'll have to do some grungy art and lay out some, and I think even Morkborg and some of them, there's already art assets that we can probably grab. People have done tokens and stuff, so yeah, we can do some pretty gnarly gangs and get that going.
Which new alchemy things did you get? Because I only got like some more scenery stuff.
Oh, I got a unlock for Vaesen. Yeah, Vaesen in the So we can try that out too if we want to do the
Cool.
Yeah. So that'll be nice, because we're gonna have character sheets and a lot of the the basic the castle and everything will be in there, I'm sure. But yeah, I really want to try that, and it sounds like they're getting so the Alchemy VTT is going to have like a spectator mode. Basically, people with accounts can watch games being played. It sounds like they're starting to roll that out. It's like in early stages, but yeah, that'll be really fun. I hope they do well. I hope that comes across. Yeah, with I almost drug us into what is it? not another multiverse or whatever, the pixel art generated VTT
Oh, yeah.
for Malagast, because I'm like, wait a minute, because you can create characters, like there's a lot of character options, so we could make demons. But
Oh, yeah.
I thought because so much of the art was supplied, we may as well just go with the artist's default tokens. But yeah, that's a bit tricky, and I think made more for narrative storytelling. But it may be worth trying that someday with their entire pixel art set for what is it? The Blades in the Dark. Yeah, they did. They have a whole pixel art, the whole city, and all the characters and every character classes for Blades in the Dark in that kind of cutesy but chunky pixel art style. Yeah,
Well done.
might be kind of fun visually. That might be fun to play. But
I think alchemy would be really good for Vassen because you're just doing scene transitions. There's not really a lot of tactical stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it'd be good for that.
no, I think that's true. Yeah, and it's going to look so nice. So I can't wait to stream our first alchemy, the pre-made package alchemy. That'll be really fun.
Oh yeah, and if they're supporting adventures, you'll have all those scenes. That's the hardest part with alchemy is setting up the scenes.
Yeah,
You might have that already laid out. That'd be nice.
yeah, that would be really nice. Yeah, that's the thing with Foundry that makes it good for because you can download the Wicked Secret and all the stories, and so all the characters are in there and the tokens are in there. Although there's a lot of stuff that doesn't have art, so there's a lot of icons. They didn't produce more art for the VTT. It's just what existed in the books. But yeah, that makes it so much easier.
How's it going, dude?
Hey, dudes in the chat. Nice. Good to see you. Yeah. All right. So, should we get started?
Sure.
All right. And our paneled rec room here. I couldn't resist. That picture's floating around, so I thought it'd make a better background than the bookshelves. All right.
You just should have tagged him up or something, though.
Oh yeah, that's that's true.
Like robots go home or something.
Yeah, some anti-machine art. All right. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
So Chris is unavailable this week, and Matt was kind enough to step in as co-host. So this week on the weekly, on the Otter Side RPG, Dungeon Dwellers by Reaper Minis, so an RPG by Reaper, Pathfinder Revolution, and YouTube's new AI policy. Yeah, so you see an example of rejected AI art behind us. This is another Wizards of the Coast blunder. So a quick update and kind of a milestone in Brinkwatch 2023.
Oh.
It's day 300. So it's been 300 days since Kyle Brink said that cis white men should step away from the hobby. But obviously he didn't mean step away from the management and the getting the paychecks and all that from the hobby. Just playing the games, I suppose. But it makes sense that if you want the hobby to be more inclusive, then the management should be more inclusive. So Kyle, resign. So we'll see if this continues into 2024 and if we get our Christmas wish. All right.
Stop the bleeding, Kyle. Stop the bleeding.
Yes. All right. So let's start with a Kickstarter that is Pizza Games is doing a Neil Gaiman inspired kind of dark fantasy tabletop called On the Otter Side. So kind of based on or inspired by the Neverwhere novel by Neil Gaiman and using Mark of the Odd, so the Into the Odd system by Chris McDowell. So it's going to be it's an Italian studio and it's going to be digital only. So it's their stretch goal I think was only or their goal was only like $500 or something because they're just producing PDFs. And it looks like most of the layout and design is already set, and it's a very Victorian scrapbook, looking. It's got a really nice aesthetic to it. So the setting is a realm filled with bizarre horrors and a Victorian aesthetic. So you you're on the outer side, and taking place in the city of Carcosa, and it has many other names, but the shadow side of the city is what you're looking for. And the familiar grows stranger, and there's mysterious and ancient, intricate realms, like ancient fairy tales is basically the aesthetic they're going for in a Victorian kind of look. So survive or find your way back home is basically the gameplay, the motivation. So inspired by Gaiman also more specifically had a novel called On the Outer Side, where they took the name from, and they also draw inspiration from Ray Bradbury's Something Wicked This Way Come and Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland. So what they're trying to do is design a game that works for both like OSR and more narrative-driven, somewhere between fans of OSR and narrative-driven games. So, rules light, but also very story-rich. So the campaign ends December 5th. So they're already 300% over. So they had a very, very modest goal. And so they'll be producing a package of 3 books. There'll be 48-page PDFs. So this is all digital. So the books are 48-page PDFs. The Book of Souls will be the rules for character creation and gameplay. The Book of Bones is the setting and atmosphere, so 48 pages of that. And then the Book of Madness is tables and prompts for quickly generating adventures. And so because they've succeeded, their stretch goals are now including a Book of Flesh, which is which was just unlocked, and that's prompts for even more adventures. So additional prompts for the strange side of the city, and another goal will expand it with the Encyclopedia Rerum Innobilium, it introduces the darkest mysteries of the city. So, and the campaign, if you even support it with just a single euro, you'll get their PDF of oddities, which is 30 eerie prompts that would work with any horror game. So they're giving you something for free. And the campaign itself is bilingual, so it looks like they're doing both English and Italian, and the translation looks decent. I didn't go through anything other than the page, but the English wasn't crazy. So hopefully it's they had a native reader or native editor kind of give it a run through. So it's the Mark of the Odd system, and it emphasizes problem solving, creativity. So characters have hit points and then 3 primary attributes, and then everything is resolved with D20s. So yeah, some perilous combat and D20s, just like Into the Odd. So yeah, so take a look at that. I think it's nice. It's nice that they just said, yeah, this is maybe the first time we're doing this. Let's go digital. Let's because you can always go back and do a printed book if you build a fan base, if you build a player base. So I think it's nice that they're doing this, and because it's an Italian studio, the visual aesthetics are wonderful. It's very, very richly designed and laid out. So check out. I'll put a link in the description, and Pizza Games On the Outer Side.
Does it? When you first started describing it, I immediately thought of Vassin, Victorian and horror. But then you said Carcosa. That makes me think King of Yellow, which makes me think Cthulhu.
Right. Yeah, they do talk about it. Yeah, do talk about it being, it can lean into the Lovecraftian. Yeah, definitely.
Does it seem like it has like a fleshed out lore, or is it really old school where they're relying on tables and improvisation and stuff?
Yeah, I think it might be more, from what it looks like, it might be improvisation, because they're really vague about the setting. Like they name Carcosa as the setting, but the city has many names, and so you're not sure. So things just get weird. So I think it's just you're taking inspiration from Victorian ghost stories and fairy tales, and a little bit of Lovecraftian horror. But it's interesting. I really like the aesthetic. Is just like old photograph and layered like handwritten letters, and just like layers and layers of paper. So it has that nice feel of like trying to uncover, like if it is a mystery in your storytelling, or narrative in a mystery, it works really well with their aesthetic. So oddly, I'm endorsing a digital-only RPG. Yeah, I would love to see this in print, but I would think it would be pretty expensive to get it to the scale that they've done the production to actually print this would be pretty pretty expensive. And so once they find players, then I think that would be their next move. So another RPG that I think this is like the last day. We're like the last day or two of this campaign. And it was really, really surprised me. And this was, and one of the patrons recommended I take a look at this. Dungeon Dwellers roleplay game, so DDRPG, is Reaper Miniatures tabletop role-playing game. So they're basically doing a D20 classic. It's not OSR and it's not modern, 5e. It's this kind of what they're calling a bridge between the best of both worlds, which sometimes doesn't work out, but they're trying to do a very general kind of D20 that they're calling in the FAQ a love letter to the classic role play from their childhood. So and it makes sense, they make miniatures, so it makes sense if they have their own system, and kind of taking advantage of Wizards of the Coast stumbles with D&D 5e as they step into their anniversary. So basically you're playing adventurers of seeking fortune and glory in a perilous world. So, and they're encouraging active participation instead of passive observing. And then, of course, the foundation of the system is group dynamics, fostering cooperation and collaboration. So, and it's 3 to 6 players with including a game master. And basically, what they're giving you is very familiar, very recognizable. So there's 4 core classes in this initial release. So fighter, cleric, rogue, and wizard. And then 4 core folk, or fantasy races. So human, proudfoot halfling, wood elf, hill dwarf, and that's it. The 4. And then of course the 6 ability scores. So strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. So very recognizable, easy to come from other systems or OSR. And then D20 resolution, and your so D20 with modifiers. And so right now there's no feats in the system. They say they may add something like that, but it has an open skill system, just based on ability checks right now. And their spell system, they said they've made improvements in magic. So improvement over which system, I'm not sure. Yeah. But we'll see. And it's dangerous because when you hit 0, that's it. You can be stabilized, but there are no death saves. So if you're not stabilized, you pass away. Yes. So this campaign is going to give us 3 books, a player's guide, 128-page player's guide, and there's also a fortune point system that they talk about. So basically like inspiration, I think it sounds like. So it can be a reward for participation, role play, heroism, sportsmanship, and it gives you some advantage or benefit. So the player's guide, the Game Master's Vault, another 128-page, and both of these have Wayne Reynolds covers. So I like when companies do that. They go out and they get a talented artist and they get original art, and they have now an identity to this game. They have a nice look. I mean, it's going to look like Pathfinder, but it's nice that they get some talented artists working on games, because that shows that they're spending some money on this. It's not just a half-assed promotion to sell minis or something. And then their monster. You
mean like the art around you right now?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Sorry.
yes, exactly. And the last is their monster manual called Denizens of the Dungeon. So their definitive book of monsters, and they have things like the axolotl and the Fingrach. So the Fimengrach is a beholder, but of course you can't use the word beholder. And the arachno assassin. So I think a lot of things will feel very familiar, and they'll have different names, but they'll have beautiful art. Yeah. So they have a lot of, and they name all of their interior artists for all of the books. And it was nice to see some new Wayne Reynolds art specific for this. And the cartography in the book itself, they hired the Forge Studios to specifically do the map making. So they have nice looking maps, and they're going to do PDFs, physical hard copies, and then also a collector's set, probably with a slip case. So the collector's version, just for that extra little oomph. And then, of course, what Reaper miniatures campaign would be complete without miniatures? So, and if you're not really interested in the game, they did new miniatures, new sculpts for this game. So you can do a miniatures only pledge. So for $50, you get everything, all the miniatures that they're going to produce for the game. The PDF only is $49, so digital is $49. Print edition is $79, and collector's box is $99. So it's not really breaking the bank. Usually, the books end up being closer to $60. You're $150 or $200 with a set of books usually. So pretty reasonable. And they're also Reaper also has their own paints, so you can buy a set of the Reaper core color paints, and of course there's a T-shirt, and then you can also pledge add extra minis. Yeah, so there's individual minis can be duplicated. So the miniatures are for the monsters: goblins, skeletons, wraiths, ogres, the Fimgranch, which is the beholder, a Moor troll, ticks, lesser basilisk, cultists, oozes, and of course a dragon. And then they do the 4 iconic adventurers, so one of each class and one class and folk combination for each of them, produced specifically for the game. And so they're good looking, Reaper miniatures. And so I'm curious. I didn't get a chance to look deeper into the rules, but this is an interesting move. I guess they're trying to take advantage. They basically said on their webpage, we know Paizo, the Pathfinder and 5e have a lot of people producing content for it, so they wanted to go somewhere in between. They didn't want to go as OSR. They didn't want to do 5e compatible. So what do you think? What do you think about Reaper?
I have mixed feelings right now. Mm-hmm. I like Reaper. Mm-hmm. Like every time I hear something about Reaper, I'm like, yeah, you're still alive. All right.
Yeah, right.
Whenever I've heard this before, we're bridging the gap between OSR and modern D&D. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what does that mean? Mm. Because what you just described, other than that fortune point thing you referenced, mm-hmm. It just sounded like OSR stuff to me. Like it didn't sound, they're not adding skills. I guess they said maybe they'll add feats later. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you take those out and there's a high death probability, it just sounds like OSR to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then I don't understand the strategic choice to do this. Like, mm-hmm. What niche are they hoping to carve out here? Because it sounds like another Dungeons and Dragons OSR kind of spin-off game. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how much room there is for that right now. Yeah. And I think evidenced by, I'm looking at their Kickstarter, and they have 43 hours left, $146,000 pledged. Mm-hmm. That little Knave book that didn't have anything with it cleared like $600,000.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So... And this has got minis and add-ons, and it's a known company. Yeah. And I don't think there's room for this to thrive, to be honest. I mean, if it does, great. And I'm curious, might get the PDF down the line to look at it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But I don't know if there's room for this in that niche. Like,
yeah. I wonder. And I guess it's something that they can offer, along with their miniatures. If you're going to Reaper for your D&D minis, then maybe you could be tempted. And they also had like advice to kind of, how do I get my players to try this was one of their, FAQ questions. And so that was interesting. That just basically talking about, this is familiar, this is recognizable, it's easy, but it's not rules light. And yeah, it is interesting. It's they spent some money, hiring the artists and producing these books. So I wonder, what exactly, maybe they're just, hoping for a splinter in the market, or if everything gets locked behind some, WotC, digital walled garden, that hopefully people will be looking for some physical books and some, something with an aesthetic that doesn't require registering and subscriptions and everything.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, I'm biased, right? If you make me a Dungeons and Dragons like game that's not Dungeons and Dragons, I'm probably I'm probably already ranking it ahead of the current state of D&D. Right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I feel like at this point you could almost run like an experimental campaign where you have your group make characters, and every adventure you try a different D&D clone.
Right.
All right, guys, this time we're doing it in DCC, and next week we'll do Knave, and after that we'll do what is it, Beckme, or we'll just keep going.
Right. Yeah, I think that's true. And I wonder what we're gonna be in for next year. If we're gonna see a splintering, if we're gonna see like D&D just become its own thing and not even like try to include themselves in the tabletop hobby anymore. They're gonna be this it's gonna be a service and a lifestyle and everything. You're gonna have to step away.
I think they're almost there. Like that's exactly. I think we've kind of touched on this before. That's what Games Workshop is, right? There's Games Workshop, and then there's the rest. There's the miniature gaming community, right? They're two separate. They're two separate things, even though to an outsider they wouldn't see it that way. I'm seeing that with D&D too. I'm seeing it on Threads, right? In the Threads kind of TTRPG community, a lot of these folks will refer to Dungeons and Dragons and TTRPGs, and I'm like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Wow.
That's kind of like when I was a kid, like my mom was a Catholic, right? And kids would tell me like, "Oh, you're a Catholic, I'm a Christian." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. It's the same thing."
Right. Yeah, that's true. Well, they'll have their Vatican soon, I'm sure. Yeah. Construct
right.
Yeah.
But like I said, I might get the PDF, and I hope they can make something of it. The Kickstarter numbers don't really blow me away.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of difficult timing too. Like, right before the holidays, I don't think people are jumping on, they already know they've got a lot of purchases ahead of them. So pledging crowdfunding probably isn't something they're looking to do, especially because they know that they're not going to see it for at least a year, Yeah, so it's interesting. I hope they find an audience for it, and I hope it and especially if they add rules and then add minis and stuff. I think they've got some good synergy within the company with what they're doing. They're producing their own dice. They've got a T-shirt. I mean, but
they have a beer cozy. A beer cozy.
They should. They will. I'm sure. But speaking of another old company that every time I see them, I feel the same as you. I'm like, oh, I'm glad they're still around. Steve Jackson Games. So they had an unsuccessful crowdfunding campaign for a Pathfinder themed version of Revolution. So Revolution was the 2009 board game. 2009 board game. And so they licensed from Paizo that setting, so the Galorian setting, but it failed to get enough funding. And but they said, fuck it. Maybe they did so much production. They're like, we can just we can put this out, and we have the. Think there's going to be enough interest, Pathfinder's popular enough setting, so we are going to see Pathfinder Revolution. So, Pathfinder Revolution. So, Viva la Revolución Corvosa. So, the city of Corvosa is the setting. And the original Revolution was designed by Philip Dubarry, who I think his most famous game is the World War II Black Orchestra. The famous board game. And so basically the original rules for Revolution and the interaction remain pretty much untouched. It's just kind of the setting that they're theming it with Pathfinder. So it's for 3 to 6 players, and you're vying for control over the factions in the city of Corvosa. And Corvosa is the gateway to the region of Varicia. So if you know your lore, your Pathfinder lore, then your Golarian lore and geography, that will mean something. And this area was introduced in Curse of the Crimson Throne in Pathfinder, that adventure path. And so scenes of hidden war using blackmail, bribery, statecraft, and when necessary, threatening shows of force. So the city's full of many factions, the scholars, the artisans, and you're just trying to do your way with, and it basically like you're bidding secretly, bluffing in the game to try to accrue the most victory points for control of the city. So yeah, so if you played Revolution and you like the Pathfinder setting, this might be a nice combination.
That might trick me into buying it. Revolution was like, Steve Jackson Games has had obviously hits with Munchkin and Illuminati and GURPS. But if you just go with like a regular tabletop board game, Revolution was the only one that they made that really hit it. It's very highly regarded. So yeah, that one I might actually take a look at. I hope, knock on particle board, I hope they give it a good quality production.
Yeah,
because no offense, Steve Jackson cuts a lot of corners. They like their black and white print and their was it like 2-column real generic layouts and
right.
And, it would be nice if they zhuzhed this one up, especially since it's Pathfinder.
Yeah, if they've got good art assets and stuff, hopefully, they will. And maybe if Paizo has some sort of approval, maybe they'll say, "Could we have a little more color, please? How about some gloss?" Yeah, it's funny, because they with crowdfunding, I think the bar has been raised on production quality for board games. So if you're investing in that, that was my huge disappointment with Hero Quest, with the revival of Hero Quest. It was such a Hasbro garbage production, like the quality of everything, all the warped minis and the one-sided printed tiles and stuff. Yeah, with the very thin cardstock. That was very something you would buy at Walmart. Basically, is what they did, what they were making. Yeah. So that's too bad. But so and the other thing that might compel you is Pathfinder Revolution folds into this game the 2 original expansions for Revolution. So the 5th and 6th player expansions are in there as well as all the mechanics and everything. That so the board has a flip side to it to enable you to play up to 6 players. And this should be at retail already. They announced it's reaching retail November 13th, so a couple days ago.
Really?
And and so check out Warehouse 23, their online store will definitely have it, as well as they also deal with Amazon and a lot of the big retailers, online retailers. But so Pathfinder Revolution. And and they just and more Paizo or Pathfinder related news. They Paizo just announced that their revised like OGL free version of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the Player's Book, was just released on their store. So Pathfinder's moving away from the OGL, and I guess next year Starfinder is going to get a 2nd edition as well. So yeah, I think Paizo's going to take advantage of the mixed messages and the confusing promotion or confusing marketing from Wizards to get a little more market share there. They'll never get back to that 4th edition era where they basically split it with Wizards of the Coast, but they'll try.
Okay, I'm looking at the box art, and the box art is really nice.
Oh, cool.
So I'd like to see the internals, but the box art certainly looks nice.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I might have to pick that up because we do play. I play a lot of board games with my local group, and that one's the original Revolution is. I've never played it, but it's really highly regarded. So I'd love to check that out.
Yeah. So Steve Jackson Games. It's interesting that they decided, okay, failed campaign, but we're not going to rely on that. We know that there's enough interest to make this a thing. And maybe they already paid Paizo the money, so like we gotta recoup some of that license we bought. All right, and lastly, I guess this is we're ending with the humanity's war against the machines, and we're in a room that basically exemplifies that. So this is an AI generated paneled living room with a television and like video game controllers and stuff on the carpeting that was obviously generated by AI, and I think it was just a social media promotion that Wizards was doing for the secret lair drop, whatever they're called, of the Tomb Raider set that they're going to do for Magic the Gathering. And I don't know why companies continue to do this. They think that people are idiots online and they don't do reverse image lookups and they don't have all kinds of ways that they analyze everything. So they'll just throw an image up there and probably didn't want to spend any money on it. And then immediately people are saying, that's AI. You're using AI in your D&D books. Now you're using AI in your promotion for, for your Magic the Gathering. Please don't do this. and immediately Wizards said, oh, it wasn't us. It wasn't us. It was that damn artist. Can't believe that shameful person. But we're getting another. So this is YouTube. In this case, YouTube has now required creators to flag all of their AI generated content. So they'll add new ways to do request removals of deepfakes, including music videos that mimic the artist's voice. So that's something that's interesting. I think they've always been much more receptive to music rights and the recording industry, maybe because they suffered from like MP3s and torrenting. They suffered the biggest damage when YouTube was like first a thing. So they have a lot of content ID and stuff that is always checking for unlicensed music. So they have new policies that require creators to indicate if they've uploaded AI generated content. So they will adopt ways that will request the content if it simulates an identifiable individual, or this is in quotes from their wording, or mimics an artist's unique singing or rapping voice. Or their rapping voice. I love that terminology. And so YouTube will introduce updates that will inform viewers when the content they're seeing is synthetic. So if it's created, altered, or synthetic content that looks realistic but was made using AI tools. So creators that consistently choose to not disclose this information may be subject to content removal and suspension from the partner program, as well as other penalties. So that's what Julie Flannery O'Connor and Emily Moxley, the VPs of product management at YouTube, wrote. So the two areas where this will happen is in the description panel. It'll say altered or synthetic, and in the video player, kind of in that area where they put the warning for COVID-19 and political issues, the sensitive topics area. They'll also inform you of this is AI generated. So they're saying that is especially important in cases where the content discusses sensitive topics such as elections. That's what that section is. So anything talking about politics. So you'll also be able to request removal of AI generated work. So yet another layer of harassment for people uploading content. You can get false claims for people saying that's AI. So I can't wait. This background is definitely AI. So we're getting a content complaint already. So they said, as part of this process, not all content will be removed from YouTube. We'll consider a variety of factors when evaluating these requests. Both of those VPs said, in which case there may be a higher bar depending on if it's a public official, like if it has a political bent or if it's disparaging someone, they may rate it differently. So it's up to YouTube. YouTube gets to decide everything, and it's going to be their up to them what standard to meet. So the one person that I hope this has no effect on, and I see now that he already labels his videos with a little watermark that says deep fake in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Charlie Hopkinson, yeah, he does really good comedy. If you don't know his channel, he does really good comedy and insane impersonations of Lord of the Rings, actors from Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, and they watch their own shows and criticize them in a little flat in England, and Qui-Gon eats biscuits, and there's really good comedy there. And so I hope this kind of change isn't going to affect his audience and his reach. I hope he still gets out there, because it's some of the funniest stuff on YouTube. The writing is so good, and he produces stuff at such an amazing rate and plays all the parts. He's basically like, changing bathrobes and sitting in different sofas in his apartment to generate all this content.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope
those are really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really well done. So they will add. So they're adding the ability to request removal. And specifically about mimicking, even mimicking the voice. So if there's nothing visually that's being done, So they're considering factors whether the content is the subject of news reporting, analysis, or critique using the synthetic voices. So the last quote from O'Connor and Moxley, what a team. We're in the early stages of our work and will continue to evolve our approach as we learn more. Yeah, and the technology is evolving too. So eventually it's going to get so good that they're not going to have a clue what they're even, looking at. So basically that will be another way to take down somebody that you want to troll or harass, is just claim that they're AI. So another approach.
You're not real.
Prove it. Prove you're real. Hold up today's newspaper.
Yeah. It's like those kind of pointless copyright strikes, right? It's going to be a whole nother way for people to suspend your monetization.
Yep. Yeah, just get in the way, and it's already so bad. The advertising and everything on YouTube is hurting. The ads, they're having trouble providing enough ads for everybody that's a partner. So, yeah, it's just going to make it even worse to try to generate any sort of income doing content for them. And right now there's no alternative platforms. So yeah, people are pretty much stuck. If they want to have the biggest reach, they're dealing with YouTube, their rules, their censorship, and now their AI takedowns. So that is going to do it for this week. So where can people find you, Matt?
Well, I'm on Threads and Instagram. It's at Hargald, HAARGALD. Right now, I'm doing a little bit of ranting about the continuing Vampire the Masquerade drama.
Oh,
They're changing it again because someone's mad about the bleed mechanic now.
I see.
And some of the stuff that they've been in trouble for in the past, for like racism and things, I totally get. But this one is now because vampires bleed unwilling people sometimes.
Right.
And yes, but I'm just like, they're the bad guys, right? Like, if you don't want to play a bad guy, don't play that game.
Right.
So, anyway, I'm sorry. Where can people find you?
Well, I'm ranting about. No, I'm drawing. I'm actually drawing my single panel gag cartoon. So go to Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch and watch me draw it every week. And I've been really lucky with the chocolate covered snacks, but I usually eat something from a Japanese convenience store and show you something that you may not ever be able to get a hold of, but is weirdly delicious most of the time. So yeah, Abuse Cartoons. And if you want to read that cartoon, you can go to gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And if you like what we're doing with the weekly, you can support us on Patreon. So patreon.com/upturntable and become a weekling. And it's a great way to send us tips and links for different sources for things you'd like us to discuss on the weekly. So yeah, every Thursday night, Friday, Asian time, we do this kind of review topic roundup. And I tried something a little bit different. I'll do it maybe for a few more weeks and just to see, but I'm taking the podcast section of this out and uploading it again on YouTube for a shorter, because the overall live stream is pretty long. So after we end this section, we go and talk to the chat for another length of time. And that creates a pretty lengthy live stream. So I'll be uploading just the podcast section of it, and we'll see if that creates any more audience, and if not, we'll just keep it as a live stream. But I really appreciate everyone that supports us on the live stream itself, and so subscribe to the channel if you want to be notified when we go live. And you can also join specifically on YouTube. So if you prefer not to deal with Patreon, YouTube has a membership, and it gets you access to the same content. The only thing that you won't get that is exclusive to Patreon is the RSS feed, which gives you audio of all of the things we do, like this live stream. So that goes live every weekend. So that's it for this week. So thanks again, Matt, for joining me, and we will be back again next week. Goodbye. Goodbye. All right, and we are back. Nice, yeah. Thanks again, Matt, for being here. With that, not a lot of action going on, but a couple of funny things I thought we could take a look at that kind of came in last minute. But I don't know, how much of a discussion they would have generated. But it'll be funny to see. Oh, first, let's check the chat real quick.
I know one of those stories Miguel's probably already plugged into for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so, too. All right. Let me get to the right. Oh, it's right here.
Cut to Miguel in Memphis dumpster diving right now.
Yeah, that's right. Driving down to Memphis. Nice. Oh, Cole McMullen.
Yeah, Cole, if you're still around, hi. Cole's a buddy of mine.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, I used to work with Cole, done some gaming with Cole. Good guy.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, thanks for checking out the stream. Very cool. Nice. And Miguel. Oh, Miguel's there. Yep, Miguel. And this Matt guy, I don't know. I don't like his name is Blue. I don't trust him in this. There's like a wrench or something. Watch out for that Matt guy. I don't know what he's doing in there. Very cool.
The wrench is firmly holstered because there's no abyss today. So.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Speaking of which, when you did your new cut version of the weekly,
mm-hmm.
you almost simultaneously tricked me and Abyss. Like, we both ran to the channel, and then we both commented, like, "Oh my god, I thought we were missing an episode."
Right. Yeah, I didn't make the wording, like I took live out of the title, but I didn't do any other different wording. Yeah, I'm just it doesn't seem like the live streams. I never get the live streams recommended to me, so I was wondering if we're losing some audience, because sometimes when I take little cuts, like short pieces of the discussion out, they get a lot more views, but it's also because they're a little more clickbaity. It's like when we're disparaging, Dungeons and Dragons or something. So when I cut that out and make it its own thing, maybe more people they click on it a little more.
What? Disparaging Dungeons and Dragons?
What's going on? Oh, no, Miguel is already claiming we're totally AI. He figured it out. Nice.
I am the crappiest AI around.
Yes, we're very casual.
AI. You remember there was that company, I think they were from like Taiwan or something, that used to do the news story videos with that really shitty, like Dire Straits looking animation?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the level of AI I would be.
Nice. All right, so let's take a look. Miguel's going to love this next one. And book your tickets right now, Miguel, while you can. All right. So, of course, Spiky Bits, ever eager to disparage GW. So there are reports that GW threw away $1 million in products. And then the person that got a hold, probably the garbage man, basically the hauler, the guy that had the tractor trailer that was throwing all this stuff away, decided to reach out and ask people if they wanted to buy it from him. So it looks like a warehouse with the Memphis, you said? It was in Memphis, Tennessee? The Games Workshop warehouse was getting rid of some old stock. And I don't know why they think they can do this. And why don't they just donate this? Because they know that it has some monetary value. It would generate for charity if they just, because that's a tax deduction, right? If they just donated this, they paid somebody to haul it to Goodwill or whatever, and then let them do whatever they wanted charity-wise with it, it would generate some income for them. Instead, they say, throw this away, and I'm sure there's a contract that specifically says you can't do anything with this. This has got to go straight to the dump. And the driver just ignored it and took it straight to a storage facility.
Hey, man, if I looked in there, I'd be doing some math in my head. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and it's like stuff, it's not like it's it was all water damage or crushed or half burnt from a fire or something. Yeah, it was perfectly good product. But just, I think some of it, it's just out of date. It's just some stuff that they've made new rules and people aren't going to buy this old stock because they're using rules to sell miniatures. And also that weird aesthetic of, we're not going to let you play the previous edition of this game. You have to play the latest one. So we're not going to make it possible to buy this. So we're going to, destroy all of it. So it's not going to get out there in online retail for a decent price, because they don't see it as a gateway or an entryway into the hobby. They just see you're not a customer and we're monetizing to the full to our full ability, so you're useless to us.
Well, and these are like Warcry and Kill Team boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are games you can play out of the box. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure it was their lawyers and their accountants saying, this will affect your pricing schemes if these are out there
Right.
for cheaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if these got dumped on the market like right before Christmas, your holiday sales are going to tank. Yeah, because there's going to be cheaper options. Yeah. No, I think that's true. And it's really disgusting, though, that they don't have any better way to do this. And there was like a former employee that was talking on Reddit or somewhere about how they just totally did away with the overstock and clearance sales at a Games Workshop, at a Warhammer store now. There's no clearance. There's no sale rack or anything. There's just stuff that is, basically they say stuff is out of print. It doesn't get discounted. They just say, if you want this, buy it now, because they're not making this anymore. But they don't clear it out. But if it's rules-based, if it's the books of the previous rule sets or things that have been, made obsolete by a new rule set, they want it destroyed. They don't want it out there. So it's really, really depressing. So it used to be that, and with their cycles for these game systems being 3 years, like 3 years, there's a new edition. So every 3 years you have to buy everything all over again. I mean, there's so many people that are just going to drop off. They're going to say, okay, I tried this for 3 years. I gave you $500 and I'm out of the hobby. And they don't understand that that's not, you're going to burn through. I guess that they're seeing it as an idiot born, sucker born every 3-year cycle or whatever. So they'll be able to bring new players in if they just market it hard enough.
Yeah, I think Games Workshop, all their strategies are geared to make people who want to play their old games and use their old product feel like pariahs, and they're missing out, and it's pretty sinister when you think about it.
It is. It's weird, and that there's still a lot of people that want to play old world fantasy, so now they're bringing it back, and you're going to pay their new price for for this game that you could play. I don't know though, because people do hoard this stuff online as well. So the prices, especially out of the UK, the prices for any old Warhammer metal minis and stuff is very dear. It's very insane because people know what they have and they know there's some demand. So there's no way to cheaply do it with the old stuff. So I don't know. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, so the number was an estimate of 30 pallets of product. Yeah, and it looks like there's some Blood Bowl in there. There's even Forge World, the black box, like the hero. Not the heroes, the characters from the Horus Heresy black boxes are there. Those are pretty expensive, just individual minis.
Well, aren't the Kill Team boxes like $100 or something?
Oh yeah, they're at least that. So there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot there. So I wonder. They put a list. So Spiky Bits did a list of eBay sellers that supposedly are getting their hands on these, but we'll see if they flood the market. But they have a list now. Since they were sent, Spiky Bits was approached to buy some of this stuff. They have a list, basically an invoice of everything that was in that lot, so we can keep an eye out for these showing up in secondary markets. But yeah, I don't know. It was really depressing. I really hate to see this kind of stuff. We see this with software companies and stuff too. Game companies are notorious for just dumping unsold copies of stuff because it's too expensive to do anything with it. So, and they're not going to donate it anywhere.
I have a feeling there's a dumpster or something behind Wizards of the Coast. It's full of a deck of many things right now. Right?
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the misprinted deck of many things are going to be filling up landfills all around us. Yeah, I thought that was really, really depressing news. But yeah, they're just trying to protect their market. They're trying to get you to pay their price, and that's really sad. That there's no. They basically, if you can't afford it, they don't want you. That's basically their attitude. It's like, yeah, you're useless to us.
If there's anything in the agreement that the person that was supposed to dispose of these had with Games Workshop, any wiggle room, the lawyers are going to crawl down the guy's throat on this one, I think.
Yeah, he'll probably never haul for them again, but yeah, but he could end up making, $100,000 or something, selling this off, because he didn't pay anything for it, and they paid him, like they paid his hauling company. So he got paid, and then he got paid again. But it's just like, coming across like a trunk full of heroin. It's like, well, you got to be able to move it. So yeah, we'll see. Mm-hmm. We'll see how successful he is. And it is basically the black, or the gray plastic heroin, the gray plastic crack of Games Workshop is out there.
Yeah, I don't want to sound like a criminal, but if this had been me, I would have sat on it for like 6 months and then tried to move it.
Right.
Because if those lawyers can sue this guy, they're going to sue this guy.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, because they're definitely, and they're probably just he might just lose his job because they'll go after the company. They may not go after him specifically, but yeah, they'll go after that company, and then he'll be doing an affidavit. So one more thing I wanted to show you that I saw just very last minute. It wasn't worth including in the weekly, but check this out. Doc Martens is doing a Blade Runner boot.
What?
So yeah, they got the license to do a cyberpunk set of their kind of classic Doc Marten 1460s, but they've got a grid on them. There's a little there's trim on there, so the red lettering says "Tears in the Rain" all the way around it. And it's got all kinds of like little kind of, and in the Tyrell Corporation, the owl logo, like kind of where a logo would be on your Converse, and and of course the little tag. But yeah, some of the detailing, the aesthetic is so funny because it is kind of like bad 80s aesthetic. So it works.
I'm not in love with the grid and the words, but if they had just put out some nice Doc Martens with the Tyrell logo on them,
yes,
I would have been all over that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
because then it's subtle, and it's like if someone notices, they're cool.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, not too over the top. Yeah, so for 179 pounds. And the other funny thing is take a look at the box. They did fake water speckling on the box. So it's probably like a UV coat or something. Yeah. So they just kind of sprayed it so it looks like it's wet. You brought it in from the rain, like boots in the rain.
I think I already know the answer, but are these the made in China Doc Martens or the made in the UK Doc Martens?
Yeah, that's a good question. I would guess.
I bet you they're the made in China ones.
Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah, I couldn't believe there's a YouTuber that cuts things in half, and he was doing a whole special about comparing the UK made and the Chinese made Doc Martens just by cutting them directly in half with a some kind of heavy power saw, and you could just see like there's just so much missing inside the Chinese version. So of course they're cheaper because there's so much less actual material and sewing and everything involved. Yeah, but that's a good point. They're not going to last, and you probably don't want to take them out of the box anyhow, because if they're the Chinese ones, they won't, they'll fall apart before they before you reach that cyberpunk dystopia you've been waiting for.
I had a pair of both at one point, and the made in China ones were not so much falling apart, but just way less comfortable. Right. Like they felt way more like you had like hard plastic rubbing into your foot or something.
Yeah. So, and I love the model is like a 3D character model from like a video game.
Yeah, that's kind of the bad AI art I'm talking about.
Yeah, right. It's so funny. They don't have a real model photograph. They have product photographs, but they have this weird CG dude from the Unreal Engine or whatever wearing the boots.
He's not at a ramen stand, so it's not legit.
Yeah, totally not. But yeah, I thought that was funny. So if we keep playing the RPG, we're probably all gonna have to. If we're on camera, we're all gonna have to be wearing these. Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe.
Yeah, but funny promotion. Yeah, I don't know where that came from because there's not like, why did they buy the license now? It's really only the RPG is like an active Blade Runner property. There's not going to be more movies. Are they? They're not doing a TV.
Yeah. They're I want to say Amazon.
Oh,
has that one.
Ah, okay. So it is kind of an active thing.
Sort of.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. So Blade Runner, Blade Runner Doc Martens. Nice. Yeah, very funny. Trying to get that synergy going, trying to find some way to spend that money. I was surprised though they weren't more expensive, because some of the like special edition like Doc Martens are like $250 or whatever. I guess it is British, so it's probably over $200 in US dollars. But
what's the pound? A pound I think is like 1.3 right now.
Oh, okay, like okay, not that bad. Cool. All right. Nice. Well, it's cool. Cole stopped by to check out the stream. Nice.
He said that the spells in that Reaper game have their own initiative die.
Oh, interesting.
That's
wow.
Cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. Oh yeah, let me. Sorry, I didn't give credit to. The app is not working. Well, that was Patrick. Sorry, that was Patrick Cassidy that suggested we take a look at the Reapers, the Dungeon Dwellers. Yeah, and the name. If you just search Dungeon Dwellers on the Kickstarter, there's a lot of results. So it's not a great naming. I mean, I guess it's like it sounds classic and kind of old school, but so many like miniatures lines and stuff have been called Dungeon Dwellers that your overlap for branding is a little severe.
Yeah, I feel like there's been a board game called Dungeon Dwellers.
Yeah, it feels like it. Yeah, I wonder. Oh, so wait, what's going on? There's a weird. I'm just checking out the thumbnail is my desktop. That's not good. Yeah, your
desktop flashed up a couple of times.
Yeah, that's weird. That's the thing that it decided to take. Nice. All right, we'll switch back then to our cozy paneling. There we go. All right. So now everybody knows my entire suite of software. Oh, cool. So some more Star Trek tomorrow. Are you ready to get back aboard the USS Mugato?
I am.
So I'm skipping an adventure in this book because the next one, if we were just going to play them sequentially, was a planet that has religious significance to multiple alien races, and there's terrorism. And I said, okay, let's not play that right now.
Can of Worms episode.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was probably not a great idea to do that right now. So yeah, we'll skip over that. Yeah, it didn't look. It seemed to escalate in an odd way anyhow. So I didn't read through the whole thing. So I didn't read it for sensitivity yet, but I don't think it's going to be very sensitive to the current political situation.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, might not be the right time.
Yeah. So we'll go with something more less topical, less ripped from the headlines.
Cool. Well, I've been looking through the mystery game I want to run for you guys.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we can do that probably pretty soon if you want.
Excellent. Oh yeah.
Be fun.
That would be great. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a fun tease too. We'll see how many people will watch a game that we're not telling them what it is at all.
Yeah. I will reveal it after character creation, but yeah.
Good. Good. Yeah, that'll be great. All right. Okay, well, I think, is there anything else? I think we're good. Yeah, nothing coming up. Something I want to ask you about. I can just ask you on stream, Matt. So we were talking about doing some kind of Christmas thing.
Oh
So
yeah.
how about like the 12 games of Christmas, and we'll just do something like kind of quick, unboxing, kind of flip through of a bunch of different games, because I have either expansions or games from crowdfunding. So I got a big pile of stuff. So we can just like roll a d12 and do the 12 games of Christmas, and it'll be
Nice.
be a random game every time. So you'll be surprised, and it'll either be an expansion for something, and we'll take a look at the original game, and then the expansion, or some some fun new stuff that's just been out there. So
That'd be fun.
yeah, that'll get us in the Christmas mood, and probably give people some ideas for new games to try, new games to buy over the holiday. Because I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of sales. Black Friday sales have already begun. So
Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I need a new laptop desperately, and so I'm literally like, watching the prices, and I'm like, hold.
Right. Yes. Is Black Friday or after Christmas? What do we do? What do I do? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there's a couple of sites that do that say lowest price in 90 days or lowest price in 275 days for Amazon pricing and some retailers. So that's always around. Yeah, there's a lot of sites in Japan like that too. There's people that are turning being a consumer into a science. So yeah, a lot of price comparison stuff, because you can like take a look at the prices in the whole country very easily. Yeah, here. So a lot more of that. All right. Well, good. Yeah. So let's look forward to that, and I'll also be finishing off in December, the third in the Apostle of Insanity trilogy, the third Mutant Chronicles book. So get some good Warzone Mutant Chronicles in there. And
Yeah, maybe we can. You'll probably be busy, but maybe we can try to work in Forbidden Psalm too.
Oh yeah. Oh no, we should. No, we should. We should make one of those. One of our weekly deals. Some Forbidden Psalm. Yeah, because I think because I have the Morkborg character sheets and everything already, so I think pretty much with some tokens, we can convert that to Forbidden Psalm pretty easily. So yeah, that would be fun. That'd be really fun.
That'd actually be a good thing if Terry's busy, because I don't think that kind of thing's his jam.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Maybe we could fill in with that or something.
Perfect. Yeah, I still haven't gotten the PDF from Free League for the second case file. I don't know if they're waiting, like if it's going to be released all at once. It seemed like it was supposed to be when you pre-ordered, you got it. So I'll reach out to them and see if I should have gotten a link.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah. That'll be fun. I'm really curious. Yeah, the direction, because the Thomas Herrenstrom was talking about having a little bit of writer's block for the case file too, but there was a breakthrough, so we'll see what that breakthrough was. All right. Okay, well, thanks again, Matt. This was fun, and we will do this again, and I'll see you tomorrow for some Star Trek.
All right, cool. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks patrons and members and supporters, and also don't forget you can join Patreon for free. You can just follow us for free on Patreon as well as YouTube. So that's an easy way to find out what we're doing, and all the latest stuff gets notified or gets posted up there. So that'll be it until next week. So see you tomorrow for Star Trek, and see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.